Hello everyone, my name is Saokosal. This is JavaScript tutorial for beginners with example. In this first part, I will talk about JavaScript and DOM, which is the most important part of the JavaScript. And you will understand how to connect from JavaScript to DOM and connect from DOM to JavaScript. If you want to find more about me, you can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/omsagasol, and I will upload this PowerPoint slide to slideshare.net omsagasol as well. So I will talk first about HTML. Usually you have the code something like that, like you have the HTML tag and the head and the title, init and body, and you usually have h1. You can have multiple labels, and multiple h1, and just example here. And the DOM here, it stands for document object model. It's a way that that you can get any element from here, because in HTML you call HTML here like the outer tag, but here in DOM you call document, okay? And the window here is the browser you want to tackle, like you have which browser and which like action on the browser, the size of the browser, anything with the browser you will call with the window object here. And if you want to get the code from HTML, you call document, and the document here you have title, okay? Here you can have tag, the head as well. You can have body, okay? And you have multiple scripts. That's why you have scripts here, and you'll return to array. And you have link to Java, like not JavaScript, the CSS, and many CSS style sheets will link to the document, so you can get any document. And if you want to get any element here, so this is called element from the open tag h1, let's say h1, to the close tag here is one element, and this is the tag, okay? And if you see this is the tag input, and inside one tag you have multiple attributes, okay? So you have attribute and type, and then you have the value of the attribute, and you can put it as in the double quote, or you can put it in a single quote, okay? And sometimes you don't have a single quote or double quote, just put it in naked. For example, like font size, you can just put 12 px or 1 em, it doesn't matter, it's gonna work, okay? But for the string, you have to have at least a single quote, okay? For example, like value here, you have a single quote here at least, or double quote. Okay, so you have to know this is one element here, and inside here it's called inner HTML. So if you want to get any element, for example, here you have a label, and you have the input type text here. So first you call document. Remember, document is the HTML as a whole, and you want to get specific element, you can get by call getElementById, and you need a ID, so that's why you put the ID here. So you can get from JavaScript by calling document.getElementById, and then this is the ID, right? So if you want to get a name, you have to call it by array. You have to call getElements with s here by name. Multiple elements can have one name, okay, not just particular name. That's why you have to think that if it is unique, you have to call it with ID, and you put the ID as a unique name, like text1, text2, text3. but the name here must be something like meaningful, but you can have multiple tag, multiple elements with one name, okay? And sometimes you want to call the whole tags, like here input, you have multiple inputs. That's why you need to call get elements by tag name as well. And you can call class, for example, like in the future you want to put from CSS like one class and then put into multiple divs, for example, then you can get by this method as well. And for the JavaScript, you can call it in let's say you want to have an event on click here for the input button. You can call it directly here, okay? But be careful because this is the double quote, and if you want to put a string here, you have to put a single quote, okay? And you can call alert here. Alert is just like a message. I will show you in the real text editor, but first I want to explain a little bit here in PowerPoint slide so that you can get it two times, like here one time and then in the code in another time, okay? So if you want to call script here, you can just put a open tag script, okay, and close tag here, and you can write any JavaScript here, okay? And this code will just run because there is no function call from the on click. You will have two alert messages, alert here, and you can just leave the window, just call alert like this, okay? And let's talk a little bit about the JavaScript. There is no data type for the JavaScript. You just call var here, and you put a variable and value here. It can be integer, boolean, string, whatever you want, float, and sometimes you want to know which type it is, so you just call functions called type of a like this, okay? And you will have if, just like in any language. Very interesting here that you in JavaScript you have triple equal sign here, and two equal sign here. It means differently. This one will test the exactly type, the value and the type. The reason that JavaScript have this like funny sign here, because as you know that a equal to 1, but 1 is can be anything, can be a string, can be can be an integer. And if you assign 1 to a here, and you want to test a with just like a normal double equal sign here, it will convert 1 here to a string, or convert a string here to an integer. So if you want to test here with the usual equal sign here, it will return true because it doesn't know. It tried to convert from a string to an integer, and then it tests it. But here with the triple equal sign here, it will not convert number 1 to a string or convert a string to number 1. It will test the data type of a with the data type of a string 1. Do you know what I mean? So in this case, return false. So be careful with this. If you are not careful, you will end up with a true if you try to test, like integer with a string like this, okay? And if you want to test with not equal, like not equal data type and value, you have to use this sign. If you want to test just like, okay, it doesn't matter as long as the number is right, it doesn't matter the data type is, then you can just use the, like a double equal sign here. and it's just a usual one, and you will have the same greater than or equal, and other sign just like in other language, and you have the double plus here for the increment, exactly the same as in the language. You will have if, else, switch case, for, while, do while. Okay. For an array is very useful in JavaScript. You can declare it with new array here, and you will have just a usual array here like 0, 1. Okay, but if you want to initialize some value to an array, you will put something like that. But interestingly, if you have a background from C# or Java, you will see this sign very strange, because in Java, for example, or C#, you will have a curly brace, okay? But this one is like a square brace for an array. And because an array is like an object, so it's similar to an object, so you have a method push to push a new object to the array. For function here is an object. It's big. Function in JavaScript is very big, You can just use a regular function by calling function, something like that is a keyword for JavaScript. I think if you have a background from PHP, you will have a similar thing, like you call fun. And then you put a function name, and then you can have multiple parameters here or argument, and then you can pass in from here, and then the data will go to here, and just like a regular programming, other like Java or C Sharp. But here it's very funny. Here it is called anonymous function, which is very unique in JavaScript. You can just call a function, and then there is no name here, and you put a parameter here, and we'll come to this, and then we'll do the calculation and return back, and then we'll come like what sum here become a function. Okay. It's like you can declare like this, and then you put a function name, or just call an anonymous function, and the variable here sum become a function sum. Okay. There's another thing here is called self invoke function. It's like you don't have anyone to call this function except himself, and you need to open a bracket here, and you can have a parameter here, and it will pass through to the name argument, and argument will send to the code here, and it will display the data to outside as an alert, for example. Okay, so you will see this a lot in the future if you want to work with the JavaScript. So remember, these two things is very unique in JavaScript: anonymous function and self invoke function. Okay. For the event listener, you can call it usually by like input button input tags. For the input button, you usually have on-click method. On-click event handler, and you call a function here, and the function will go to the JavaScript and find out if there is OK click or not. Okay. For the text, you can have on chain, like you type it, but there are four events to handle this. First, you have to call on chain. You will call to a real function, but then you need to call on key press, and you will reference to on chain here. That's why you call this here, and on input and on pass, because on pass here is for when you pass something, it will change. Okay. If you don't use this, it's okay, but in some browser it doesn't work. Like we want to cope with all the browsers So because you have Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Opera, and whatever, so you will use this for event handlers to cope with the on-chain. And this is the example, like you have a on-click here, you will call the to function on-click here, and then here you have a prop, an attribute in HTML code here in HTML here, and you can call style and font size, and you can see the font size here become the S become the capital. It's very easy to understand, because if you know CSS, the same to CSS, except the second one become the capital one. Okay, and you want to get like option from select here, the option S1, and you have maybe on chain choose, you want to choose, and I created a method, a function actually, a function choose here, and then you have multiple options here. That's why first you need to call a getElementById S1 here, and then you can get any option that you selected by this, because you have multiple options. That's why this option. Remember, anything with the S here is an array in JavaScript. It's very easy to remember, and you reference the S1 selected index, so which index you are selected, then it will choose and return to O1. Then O1 can get a value 1, or in a apple, if you choose number 2, then value 2 and banana. Okay, so let's go to our code here. So let me create just a plain text here. Let's say js1.html, and for me I use brackets. You can choose any text editor you like. You can choose Sublime Text or maybe Notepad++. And for this one it's good, because if you see, brackets is made by Adobe, and Adobe is very popular, okay. And you can have extension. Just go to File and Extension Manager here, and then you can install image, for example, and if you want to you install PHP, you can install PHP. And this one is my extension that I install is image for like image, like fast HTML, and this is for PHP. And if you use Sublime Text, I think you can understand bracket. For example, if I just type like exclamation mark, press tab. Okay, so if you want to understand more about image, I think I suggest you to go to Google and type image. Okay, this is my PowerPoint slide, and I will put the link in the video description. And you want to find more about my YouTube channel, just go to my YouTube channel here. Okay, so now you have H1, let's say hello, and maybe label and hi, and in brackets you have a live view here. So anytime you save, you don't have to refresh the page. Let's say I want to change from hi to good morning. Press save. You can see that it will refresh the page here. It's very easy, very convenient. And now you want to have maybe input type, and if you know image, just put like input text and tabs like that. Then here you have a name, let's call txt name, and ID here I just call text1. Okay, and maybe you want to have a button. Let's use the image. Okay, and you have on click here. So I will just say on OK click. Here you can use JavaScript in the script here. So let's say you want to alert document, for example. Okay, see that? When you run it, you just run, Control all, you will run it, or maybe refresh that. So it's document here, all the document, but let's say document.title and save. You see that this is document because our title is document. Say hello JS here. Okay, now I want to put it into the function, so the function OK click, so it's called function OK click like this. Now okay, see that, and now I want to get the data from this input text, so first declare a variable and just call text1 document.getElementById. Now you put the ID text1, and then maybe I want to say what is your name, for example, and you type your name here. Let me increase the font a little bit, and let me have another label below, and I will call just like hello one maybe. And here after you type in, so you will grab the text here and pass into the hello one. So hello one document.getElementById, and here is hello one. Let me drag a little bit. Okay, so hello one. So you want to get the data in here. It's called inner HTML. Okay, you want to get a value. It's called value here. Okay. So just say hello and just the text, and the text here is value, right? So we want to get a value here. So let's say Kosal. See, hello Kosal. Let me put the here. Okay, now I want to test it. If the text is blank, I want to tell to the user that okay, you forget to put your name. I don't want to just show hello and no name here. Okay, so first you need to grab the ID here. So declare a variable here, star1 and document get element by ID. Here is star1, not star world. And if text1 value, because here the text is value and the label is inner text. Don't be confused about that. And if it is blank here, then I will say what's that? Star1 inner HTML, and I say enter your name. Okay, else and star1 nothing. Okay, and you want to grab the code hello and put it inside here. Test again. So now the light is on. Okay, so say okay. Now you have the nice hello with a name, and if you forget like that, then you have this. Okay, but maybe you want to clear this out, so before you do anything, so maybe just grab the hello here, maybe here, like this. Let's do it again. This. Okay, that's it for this video. If you think this video is useful to you, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video to your friend. And if you have any question, please comment down below and I will try to answer as many as possible. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you.